Okay, so now, brother, I mean, you've been right up in the mix. You've been in the industry as an
Mm-hmm.
active participant. Okay, world tours, a million hours a day in the studio, the whole nine.
Right.
Okay, so now you're talking from the inside, not someone, from the outside. How did we go from the type of hip hop that throw your hands up in the air, wave them like you just don't care, everybody have a good time, to brothers shooting each other on the street and smacking around the sisters?
And I think we can go back and we can look at. Let me see, how far do I need to go back in order to adequately answer that question? I think we can go back recently and pick up a book entitled The First Millennium Edition of the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. I'm going to say it again. It's the First Millennium Edition of the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. On page 236, it talks about the nefarious niggerization of rap music. Let me pull it up. It says, the Uncle Toms that haunt the middle echelons of the music business had the first opportunity to nurture and develop the new original sound emerging from their own youth. Talking about black people now. All right? These Uncle Toms were there, and they heard hip-hop, and they could have nurtured it and morphed it into something. But instead, they rejected it. The whole movement, they rejected it. As strongly as the youth embraced it, they rejected it. They ignored urban appeal and true to their own middle class acculturation, sought their talent from artists whose styles were of the Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson crossover type. White people rejected? No. Young whites latched on to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then young whites seen Public Enemy coming that gave birth to Brand Nubians, Poor Righteous Teachers, LONS, Busta Rhymes and other people, Queen Latifah and other groups. You understand what I'm saying? And then they decided through Quincy Jones's Vibe magazine and other people that they had propped up to niggerize hip-hop and rap music. You understand what I'm saying? They made it very profitable to call yourself a nigger. So when they started paying people like NWA, because NWA is victims of this also, but they started paying people like NWA to propagate and to promote the nefarious niggerization. You understand what I'm saying? It made it cool for every group to come after NWA, to model and pattern themselves after NWA. So it's fashionable and cool to call yourself a nigger now. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is not Grif. This is on page 236 of the First Millennium Edition of the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. And it also says here, the Negro child will be presented with a humiliating picture of the Negro as dirty, shiftless, lazy, happy-go-lucky, smelly, ignorant, treacherous, superstitious, and cowardly. And he may find himself expected to live up to this.
Sounds like the Willie Lynch papers.
Exactly, all over again. And we revisited that with hip-hop. So they used Quincy Jones magazine, the Vibe magazine, and they still do. They used NWA. So while Liar Cohen and Jimmy Iovine was getting rich, creating this East Coast, West Coast beef, Biggie and Tupac were getting shot down like dogs and animals in the street. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we have to address that. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
And that's real. So John Patosh put together the book, The FBI's War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. And he connected the dots. Now, this is a white dude putting this out. He connected the dots. He showed you that there's an attack on black leaders, and young black rap artists were the new young black leaders. Because like Fela Kuti said, music is a weapon, and they know that. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
So inside of the book, Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, whom, by the way, they murdered.
Straight up. On parking tickets.
Thank you. So in his book, from the book Behold a Pale Horse, written by William Cooper, a former naval intelligence officer, in regards to a document concerning the American public, it states, Diversion is the primary strategy. The simplest method for securing silent weapons and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of basic system principles while keeping them confused. And this is what these reality shows are doing. Confused about gender, confused about political issues, confused about your role. You understand what I'm saying? Confused about religion, confused about politics. It says keep them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance. Whereas the media, MEDIA, which stands for Multi-Ethnic Destruction in America, or Maniac European Devils in Action, keeps the adult population's attention diverted from real social issues and captivated by matters of no real importance. It goes on to say, the schools are keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economics, real law, and real history. Entertainment is kept below the 6th grade level. When you start hearing songs like Laffy Taffy and these kind of songs would hit your lower chakras and vibrate that negative energy, activating your pituitary gland, releasing those hormones. Now you got grown-ass men making songs for 12 and 13-year-olds.
Teach, bro.
I.e. Jay-Z. You understand what I'm saying? So the public is kept busy working, and the result is no time to think. And that's exactly what they produced. And they wrote about it inside of a book called the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, Shaping the Moral, Spiritual, Cultural, Political, and Economic Decline of the United States by John Coleman. Now, John Coleman is the gentleman that wrote the Committee 300. And the Committee 300 is that organization that get together that decide what the trends are going to be in the black community. So when you start seeing people wearing mohawks and tight pants and wearing 2 earrings and acting like women, that was manufactured and put among us.
Teach, brother.
You understand what I'm saying? So we have to understand that. How they did it, they said they devised a system. And the aim of the 12 tonal system that they devised jointly by British intelligence operatives from Tavistock University or Tavistock Institute in England. They put these 12 tones among us, all right, and created this thing, punk rock and this other uncontrollable music. Look up Operation Paperclip and it'll tell you all about it. But Adorno was a system of music that could program the mass music culture capable of eroding the morals of its listeners until they declined to a point where they will totally be degraded by it. And that's what's going on today. The music is bringing us down to an animalistic level, to the point where we don't even care about the art form. We just want a paycheck.
Yes, sir.
So now it's cool for a Jim Jones to come out talking about nah, 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 and grown folks go for it. You understand what I'm saying? It's cool for these cats to come out with songs talking about I'm stupid, you stupid, we stupid. Why does that appeal to grown men and grown women? And it shouldn't.
I mean,
we have to understand that, man.
That's right. I mean, basically, once back in the 80s, I mean, once when I saw, you know, and I mean, I don't say this to flatter you, you know, I mean, I remember things when they started way back. Basically, when I saw what the industry, how they began to obstruct Public Enemy, and y'all went down for a minute, that's when I basically lost interest, brother. I mean, right. I'm old school anyway. You know, I'm a Earth, Wind, and Fire man. I'm a Cool in the Gang man. Okay, so now when I heard Public Enemy back in the day, I said, okay, this is what I'm talking about. And then we know what happened. Okay, and so after that went down, I basically lost interest.
Yeah, because they used NWA to neutralize Public Enemy. You understand what I'm saying? Unbeknownst to NWA, they didn't know they was victims of this.
Black Dot said the same thing.
So we have to understand that particular dynamic, man. See? And our young parents out there are unaware that these people themselves, Joe Bacan put out a DVD called The Corporation. He said children as tomorrow's consumers represent a huge market today and therefore a fair game. You understand what I'm saying? So they are attacking the children using tones and frequencies. And parents want to see their children happy. We go out and use our credit cards and our hard-earned dollars to make sure our children are happy,